What's up, everybody? We are back. All right. So the other day, me and this girl was getting into the mood, and she told me, I need to, you know, uh, trim the yard,
Oh, damn.
and I don't, do you have any recommendations?
You know what? Funny you say that because I got in a similar situation. I had to do some digging. I found some shit, bro. I gotta put you on.
Please do.
It's called Manscaped, and Manscaped gave us a code that I want you to use. You can get 20% off, bro.
Get
And
out of
y'all
here.
too. Wrap in order 20. You use that. You go to manscaped.com. Get 20% off your order.
Wow, she is going to be so happy.
And she won't have no hair on her teeth.
And your balls will thank you. Welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Taurian B.
I'm First Class Reg.
What's up, guys? We got that Aviles guy in the building. What's up, Danny?
What's up, guys?
All right, so this week we are going to talk about, is beef going too far in hip hop? And I know that sounds kind of odd because, we've had it happen so many times, right? Where unfortunately we lose a beloved artist or someone beloved in hip hop, to like senseless violence. But just recently, Memphis rapper Young Dolph just lost his life. And obviously there's many speculative theories about what exactly happened. Was it from the people that he had beef with in his hometown of Memphis? Was it someone else? Was it an alternative motive? And it's like we see like the difference, right? We see like with Drake and Kanye, there was like a beef, but it wasn't real beef, right? And that's why like it probably was easier for them to like come together and shake hands. But then we have the example where Jeezy and Gucci Mane, like that was like real life. That was like a real life situation. And to get them together, like it kind of like looked like they had to be in completely different places in their lives.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess I just have to ask the question again, like, when does it go too far? Like, when are you like when do these artists have to feel like, all right, I need to make a difference? Because both of them have, because Dolph has an interview in the past where he was asked, how can we fix this? Of the situation that he has with Yo Gotti's,
Yo Gotti, yeah.
With Yo Gotti's, I know who Yo Gotti, I know it's Yo Gotti, guys. So that it was with Yo Gotti CMG collective, right? And then Yo Gotti pretty much gave the same sentiment and said like, yeah, this is forever. But it's like, when is it enough? You know what I'm saying? Like we see people like somebody like NBA YoungBoy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Same situation. Pretty much he has beefs with people. He has a beef with one of his cousins, if I'm not mistaken. Or did they make up? They made up, right, LaShawn? Right, I think so. Like him and one of his cousins that raps also, he has beef with them. I just need to understand like they're millionaires.
Yeah.
What help me, guys?
Well, there hasn't been that separation from the mentality. So like they do have the money, and the problem is, they stay in these communities. So I'll backtrack. I won't say it's the problem, but it is kind of a challenge that they stay in these communities that they grew up in, but they don't. Some of them don't inflict the change. So they grow up and they become millionaires. Their status changes, but they still do all the same things and they still move the same way. I think that has a lot of effect on them. And unfortunately, like we've seen it from time to time. Like, I mean, most of what we know in rap only coming up on 50 years old. I would say a good portion of that we've seen some very dark times in rap and how it's gone left, especially in beefs. But I think a way for it to change, unfortunately, a lot of them have to just make the change that they want to see. Like, so it starts with Dolph kind of squashing beefs. It starts with them moving and completely being on different paths for them to go back and revisit and try to inflict the changes they want to see.
I think it goes to a lot of what Reg says, and I think for speaking personal experience as New Yorkers, it's hard for us to see this go down that way because, you know, gun laws are a little bit more serious in New York. Also, the last time we've seen something like this was the 42nd Street exchange between Tekashi and
Chief Keef's people.
And Chief Keef's people. That's the closest we've had in New York that's been, you know, shown in the media in years. I think a lot of times in less, I guess, urban cityscapes, it's also easier outside of New York to have guns, and it's more of a way of life. I think it goes deeper into that when the beef is something that starts in the streets and not through music. It's a lot harder for them to dead it, especially when you're living a lifestyle that you may still be in a lifestyle, but you're portraying a lifestyle. So when you portray a lifestyle, you're welcoming elements of that lifestyle into your surroundings. You know, it's what you put out into the universe. So I think at that point, I feel like when you have a gun, you're welcoming more gun violence subconsciously.
Absolutely.
I think it's just something that we have to start going around, or not even we, but like it's something that OGs have to really take the time to implement and take the time to mentor the next generation and going on and going forth, because Dolph wasn't a young dude. Dolph was our age. You know, Dolph has seen all these issues. You know, but at the same time, Dolph was beefing mostly locally at home, and then also beefing, you know, even though it's for internet, he had so many beefs that you don't know where you can point the finger at, or if it is even somebody else who's involved in the music industry. It's one of those things where, you know, it's the energy you draw and what you put out, it comes back reciprocated to you, and you can't help that.
What do you guys think, like, when people say, like, this is why, like, some artists, like, move from their neighborhoods and never go back? But then, like, you have some people be like, oh, this person's a sellout, or, oh, you need to give back to your community that helped raise you. But then you have these examples, Nipsey Hussle, fucking Young Dolph. You know what I'm saying? Killed in their neighborhoods Young Dolph was buying cookies. Nipsey was leaving the shop that he built in the strip mall that he helped prop up to, you know, inspire people, right? And it's like these artists feel like, yo, if I don't leave, look what's going to happen to me. And I'll give you a prime example, right? Chief Keef left Chicago, and a lot of people have a lot to say about him leaving Chicago, but like it was probably the best thing for him because he was spiraling, right? If I'm not mistaken, Lil Durk left Chicago and went to Atlanta. YG left California, went to Atlanta. Like, you know, these artists, like they leave like where their surroundings are, where people are familiar with them and stuff, because they're like, yo, like I actually like not worrying about somebody trying to kill me every day, you know?
I think at that point when you sorry to cut you
No,
off.
it's okay. Go.
I think at that point, with these artists, especially when they have families, it's important to do what's best for their family. So I think you can't please everybody. People are gonna talk the way that they talk, but at the end of the day, if you're an artist and you know your past and you know how your past can affect whatever you got going on now, you got to do what's best for you. People talk about Chief Keef, but Chief Keef, you know, his name still stands. Like, I mean, what is he? He's in LA now, right?
Yeah.
He's still like, people not out here fucking with Chief Keef or testing him because he moved from the Midwest to LA. Like, I mean, he's still valid.
At the same time, though, I wholeheartedly agree with that. But at the same time, Dolph's life was threatened multiple times. The time his car got shot up was in LA sneaker shopping. So I think that it's what you're welcoming in, the energy you're welcoming into your life, but it's also at a certain point you have to move like you have that kind of money. You shouldn't be driving around, no matter how great you are, how solid you are in your hood, when you're worth a certain amount and, you know, another rapper has $100 grand on your head, whether that's real or not. That was still said. Soulja Boy still put that out there.
That's okay. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that too. He is being mentioned in the murder of Young Dolph right now.
Yeah, you know,
just days prior, he was on the Breakfast Club, talking about Dolph, and they had a beef. Him, Key Lock.
They went back and forth over social media. So on the Breakfast Club, he didn't say it, but like Danny said, like he mentioned something, and it's crazy because I feel like we all know that Soulja Boy isn't killing anybody.
Yeah, he's just talking.
But it just sucks that Soulja Boy talks with that kind of energy,
but
right?
Also,
and that's even worse. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's even worse somebody like Soulja Boy, if you don't know any better, you would think that he is a complete murderer. The way he gets crazy and starts talking and does all of that.
He is a murderer, technically. He has killed somebody in self-defense, Soulja Boy. But whatever that situation was, that was that situation. I mean, he let it ring. I don't want to laugh throughout this when we brought up Soulja Boy. But, you know, it's also, if he came, also, we're putting on this because this is what we know in the light because we see this in media. We don't know. This could have been something from 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Just because he was in the streets catching up to him. You know, I hate to use the rat Alpo as an example, but look, the streets finally got him. He thought everything was sweet and dandy, and it finally caught up to him. Now, it doesn't matter. When you're in the game, and I'm not talking about the music game, we know what game we're discussing. When you're of that lifestyle and of that ilk, there's no like, oh, I'm good and I could just move around freely, no matter how much money you make.
Yeah,
When you've put X amount of energy into the world, you have to always expect that to be reciprocated. And I think it sucks that a person can't freely, you know, change their life, make some money, start living righteously, and can't go get cookies. But you shouldn't be pulling up with all this beef that you have. A man just put $100 grand on your head. We're right after a pandemic. Unemployment's low. When people get hungry, those teeth start to show. You can't just be putting this energy out and moving like you would normally. You know, pulling up in a Lamborghini to just get cookies. People see you, they're going to get you. You know, it's as simple as even when, you know, Triple X got. He was just seen flashing money. They knew where he was going to be, and they went to the place where he was going to be there with the money. There's a lot of different things that it's just, I think at this point in time, we have to be realistic, and I think artists have to be realistic. Nobody's tougher than a bullet.
Of course not. I guess my other question, right, is that we've had people like get in between. So early on in hip hop, African Bambaataa would be the person, and I know he's not very creditable right now, but he was the person that would tell people like, yo, stop beefing, you know, y'all gonna either freestyle or dance battle or something like that, right? And then after that, it went on to Farrakhan being the person that like made peace, you know. And then we've had other figureheads, and like now recently, like, you know, it was like Jay Prince. And I don't think that it always needs to be like some photo op with them hugging or shaking hands, because it's like, you know, you guys don't even have to do that, because that's some shit that your mother made you do with your like sibling, right? But it's just like, yo, can y'all just not kill people? Like, could y'all just not kill, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, I don't understand why is it so hard, like, to risk all of that, right? Like, let's like Yo Gotti is doing extremely well right now. It's art, like, quiet is kept. You could say that CMG is one of the best rap labels out right now, right? And why would he risk that? And we're not saying that he had anything to do with it, but we're just saying potentially, why would he risk that?
To the point of like being mentioned and
yeah, right. Like, think about that. Like, why risk that? Like, why risk legacy for your family and stuff like that? Like, why risk being away from all these gorgeous women that you rap about laying down with? Why would you risk being able to just spend all the money that you have? Like, why is it so important to see another person dead? Like, I think about like with Gucci and Jeezy. I'm pretty sure, from the looks of things, I could tell that Jeezy is past it, and Jeezy was like, let's just get it over with. I'm in a completely different space. And I could tell that they really had to convince Gucci, and I think that came from like the trauma of someone breaking in his home attempting to kill him. But like, he got to the point where I think he's also like, yo, like, I don't want to lose the shit that I got. Like, and obviously, you know, men have a principle, you know, that a man's got to have a code. But I also think that what do you have to like take to like realize that? And then it seems like because they're the rapper, they're the ones who like are the face of shit, but they mans in them who's the ones gassing them up to kill. They don't have shit to lose. The rappers are the ones who got shit to lose, but then they want them to be the realest ones. It's crazy.
I think there's another aspect to it that now in the last few years, ops rap has gotten more and more of a bigger thing, you know, rapping about who you got beef with, talking about what you did to your enemy.
It evolved from having your haters to having your ops.
Yeah, and like, I feel like a lot of times when we see it, it's more younger than 25 25 and younger year old individuals, dudes who really haven't left the hood to understand what life is really about. And we only start to hear about them because the tragedy that they speak about kind of puts them in a light. And it's I think it's also on us as consumers to realize, like, hey, as we're listening to this, and the more we're listening to these people talk about killing each other and actually mentioning who they're killing, that shit, it stays in your brain. It goes to what you're digesting. You know, it's I feel kind of responsible as consumers as well, as, you know, that we have a responsibility in this when we're listening to this music and processing it the way we are. And we just take it off as entertainment, whereas this is real life for people. And I think that sometimes, because we're not from a region, or we're not from where, or we're not in that age group anymore, we're past our bullshit because, you know, we're in our mid-30s now. It's kind of like, I feel like a bit like, damn, I'm 30-something-year-old listening to this 20-something-year-old talking about killing his ops and then smoking in his pack.
Do you think we're fanning the fire because we're entertained by it?
I absolutely think we're fanning the fire. Think about the reactions that whenever there's a potential beef record on the horizon, think about how we react, like wanting to hear it or wanting to see what the other person said, or, you know, oh shit, you fucked this dude's baby moms. Oh shit, you got this dude's baby moms in a picture with you, in a car with you for the video. Like, oh, like, you know, we feed all of that, and obviously it's like I'm not even gonna try to. Yeah, fans, y'all know I can't pronounce shit, but like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, it's all of this media attention for every single thing that you do, right? So obviously that makes the artists want to do it. I guarantee you, if we all like got hyped because like artists were making songs about bananas and pajamas, they'll be fucking doing it. They kind of make music about what we react to.
Yeah. And
yeah, we're to blame. Like, we're absolutely to blame.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of
What you think, LaShawn? Oh, so I would appreciate that. Cause you distracted me, cuz. Thanks, man. I love you too.
But it kind of reminds me of Kanye's first part of the Drink Champs, when he makes a lot of note of Drake. He brings up Drake a lot, but he's also conscious of saying, like, yo, there's like real beef shit out there. Like, me and Drake are in the business of rap.
Yeah.
So I think that connection is what's missing in a lot of this shit and a lot of these beefs, because from what we like to be entertained by, shouldn't be confused with real life pain and infliction of pain, because it kind of goes into, like, you know, how we watch movies and shit.
So like, you think it should be more so it should come with a disclaimer like WWE,
it probably
where
should,
it should said that these lyrics are not real lyrics. I don't own these guns in this video.
Honestly, we're probably at that point.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it should be more clear than that. Like, or it should. They do it in videos, but they don't do it enough.
All this time, it's just been done with the assumption, like, oh, niggas know this is entertainment.
Yeah,
you know.
But see, the difference is with wrestling, though. We had, for example, with wrestling, we had the Montreal Screwjob that finally, like, for real, unveiled the difference between wrestling and real wrestling and everything.
But I mean, even before that, I remember when I was a kid, my dad, who was a jerk, used to tell me that wrestling was fake. So I already had that over my head, like someone telling me that. But before that even happened, and I was like, you just want me to grow up, you know? I just was just like, I was just mad like that my father would instill my innocence, you know?
I mean,
but
at a certain point as a teenager, you also realize that fact that your favorite rapper probably isn't doing 90% of the shit he says he's doing. Mm-hmm. You know?
Nah, man. I really thought that Tupac was killing his enemies and drinking Hennessy.
Over and over again?
Yeah.
Over and over. But no, so yeah. So we do need to walk that line of, like, yo, like, entertainment, real life. And I feel like every few years, unfortunately, we have to revisit a topic like this, because, you know, there's like a really, really unfortunate thing that happens, like what happened with Dolph. But if we do have to come to that point of, like, putting disclaimers in music, then so be it. If people feel like it ruins the art, so what? But we need to figure something out.
I'm all for it. In a movie, when you see a movie, they let you know no real animals were killed in this film, were harmed in this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for whatever we can do to make sure that we aren't convincing kids that some of these things are okay. Yeah. Because you think about it, it's kind of like a trickle down effect. And I think in other regions, like you can tell, like you can like look at the timeline and like tell like, all right, this happened because of this. And obviously, on a deeper note, guns didn't get into our neighborhoods by us because none of us know any people in Colombia or overseas in the Philippines where those guns are coming from, things like that, you know? But you thought I was going to get killed on this interview. But no, what I'm just saying is like, obviously I'm aware of that, but I just know that, you know, life imitates art. You see things, you know, the same way how when I watched Bad Boys with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, I wanted to go out and pretend to be cops, like fake arresting people and shooting people and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I also wanted to portray being AZ and doing the things that I heard AZ rapping about. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I wanted to do both of those things. So I'm just saying that one has a disclaimer and tells you what's real and what's not real, and then the other one doesn't. And I think in hip hop, that the parental advisory sticker, we need a new one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also it's funny because you've had, for example, the first thing that comes to mind is somebody like Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Who would sing about
killing a man. And we know Johnny Cash ain't kill a roach.
He was with the shits, but he wasn't killing people.
I don't know.
Well, the stories are Johnny Cash was really with the shits and down to step to people. But it's also, I think, the competitive nature that created hip hop, the MC aspect of it, the kind of how MCs originally were brought on to complement the DJ, and it was more of hyping up the DJ for a DJ versus DJ situation. Mm-hmm. We've always had this competitive nature in hip hop. Like I've even said it several times, in order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And I feel like that sometimes also holds us back because other genres don't have that competitiveness where they feel they have to step on each other to get it. We've heard beef of like R&B beef is maybe the closest thing we you know, you get 112 versus not Jagged 112 Drew Hill versus Jagged Edge.
Drew Hill versus Jagged, but now 112 and Jagged Edge had a beef too.
Oh, that too, yeah. So, you know, like and but we don't really like, there's no other genres that you really hear like, yes, you know, people have beef, but that doesn't really fall out
or become
resort
to the way that is hip hop.
Yeah, you know, like the Oasis brothers used to fight each other. The people in fucking this racist ass band, Guns N' Roses, used to fight each other. Right. You know, but it never spilled over
correction. Axl Rose.
Axl Rose
is a racist. Don't say that the racist has been. I just had to correct that.
No, you're right. You're 100% correct. Axl Rose is racist ass. So it's something that we, I think, as a culture, need to figure out how we can make this less of a full contact sport, I guess you could say, because that's how it feels.
It's going to be hard, and it's going to be very hard, and I don't know where to start with that, because the problem is just that in hip hop, so many people really are living that life, but then it sucks because when the cops do come, then they want to go back and say it, and the cops will be like, so this ain't you on this wire? And then it sucks, so this ain't you on video, and that's what sucks, you know. So I really hope that we figure out a way to like stop this senseless killing. We don't see any country artists dying. We're the only genre where our artists are just dying because of non-natural causes. Like, you know what? No, I'm not even going to say that. I'm just tired of artists dying for senseless killing. I'm really over it.
The whole genre back so much when shit like this happens.
It justifies it.
It justifies what the white people say about us already.
It justifies how they.
It justifies not even just white people, bro. It justifies people that aren't fans of hip hop.
How they book these shows. How, you know, it sets everything back, and like, you know, that. And we all want like the peacefulness in this genre, and how great it is and how young it is. Like, we're about to hit 50, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, we want to continue seeing the greatness that we've been seeing over the years. So some shit just has to change for us to get there.
And with that, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Taurian B.
I'm First Class Regg.
We will catch you guys next time. Thank you.
Rest in peace, Dolph.
Hey, Rez, you shave your balls?
I do shave my balls.